Alright, dickheads, welcome back to practicing challenge 52. Athoro is my god, ha ha ha. Anyways, draw along, get your pen, get your paper, let's put a lot of effort in together, right? Who am I? I'm Viggy. I've been drawing for 3 years and almost 7 months, right? The fundamentals are 90% of my practice. This channel serves to prove that anybody can draw, and also it's a catalog of my practice to prove it. I don't know, it's just not about proving everybody can draw. It's my art goals as well. But yeah, if I can do it, you can do it. What other bullshit do I say? Art what, art what, art what? Art what has nothing to do with this, but they're the fucking reason for my progress. All over the place. Very good intro. But yes, get your pen, get your paper, and let's put effort in together, right? Put effort in with me, right? Give me retention, body doubling, all that shit. Oh, also earlier today I did do extra drawing. This is roughly an hour and a half. I'm not done it yet, but I went to the local what the fuck, bookstore, and the book is called Canadian Architecture and then a guide or something like that, and this is page 194, right? Which is fucking, like, I don't know, architecture from the 1950s or some shit. But I'm not done this yet. But yeah, this took around an hour and a half, and I used this pen. Pigma Micron 1, 0.25 millimeters, right? For waterproof and fade-proof fine lines. Very nice. Sakura, Japan, very good. Nippon, the nippies, as they say, the jippy nippies. But anyways, draw along. Let's practice some fun with forms. I know I call this challenge 52. I'm just doing it to give a thorough credit because a lot of the principles is based on his, like, it's based on a lot of the things you learn within the challenge 52, like all the different form manipulations and all that shit, right? The concepts that he talks about. But this is really it's just fun with form, right? And that is what I'm trying to do. And again, I'm trying to think of an interesting silhouette right now, right? And that is going to lend way to most likely, and I'm trying to zoom out and think about the overall form that I have going, right? Overall box, right? I've basically established my box now, but I'm just trying to think about the perspective of which I'm going to be drawing, what I'm going to be drawing in. Incredible. Really good statement right there. I'm thinking about the thing I'm going to be drawing. Incredible. Very good. But yeah, I'm basically thinking, I'm trying to really think in silhouettes, right? And really thinking like simple shapes. So I'm thinking box here, right? In this overall larger box, maybe a large box connected to this, cylinder here, right? And I'm trying to keep things simple in my mind, but I struggle with that greatly, right? Because I've actually gotten to the point where I draw a lot of complexity, as per, I guess you could see here, but that's not exactly what I want, right? I don't want to just draw complexity. I want to be able to think about complexity in a simple manner, right? That is what I want to do. I feel as if that is a very important skill to have as an artist, right? Is to be able to think about complexity in a simple manner, because that's what's going to allow us to design, I guess, the interesting shapes, right? For lack of a better word, right? The interesting shapes. But in general, this actually isn't even the perspective that I originally wanted it in. I wanted it to be a lot more, what's it called? Narrow of a degree, right? I don't know why I drew an ellipse in there. I guess just fucking practice, just used to it. But this has become a bit more, because I am also trying to, like, this has become much more visible, right? It's a wider degree, but it's also because I'm trying to, I'm trying to get used to drawing things a bit more foreshortened and a bit more of a fucky angle, right? And that's only possible if I actively push myself to draw in those fucky angles. And you can see I'm making a lot of mistakes right now. The lines themselves are being very mediocre, but this is kind of what I need to do to push through myself. Again, I'm thinking here, like, what if there's a cylinder that wraps around, like a rounded cylinder, right? Like this, that wraps around this cylinder that I have coming in here, right? This design in of itself doesn't really look that good. But we cannot confirm nor deny, right? Just like the law, we cannot confirm nor deny if this looks good yet, because we have not completed it. Right, I haven't really committed to anything particular. And again, I'm just thinking multiple rounding, cylinder. I'm trying to really zoom out. I'm zooming in while drawing this, of course. By zooming in, I mean I'm focusing. When I say zoom in, zoom out, I mean, like, holistically, is like trying to zoom out, think about the overall perspective, try to see this entire perspective, but zoom in the sense that, like, okay, like, still keep in mind the details that you're drawing, right? Like, still try to keep that all in mind to the best of your ability. And right now I'm just thinking, well, we have this one cylinder, what little manipulations can be added on top of it, right? Like I don't even think I probably should have done something like this where it closes around it instead, right? That already looks a little bit better than what I had done prior. And this is fun because I'm basically reverse engineering a cylinder, adding shapes on top of it, I guess you could say, right? And even then I'm trying to think like, okay, well, what connection do I want here, right? I could have, perhaps, and again, this is like what connection of what I mean is like, okay, maybe I want something connecting through here, right? And then this way I can also involve a little bit of foreshortening because I want to think like, okay, it's foreshortening this, not foreshortening, but also converging, which is part of the foreshortening, right? But it's converging point here, and maybe point here. And I do want to push myself. I really do want to push myself, right? Jesus fucking Christ, I have to keep burping. I just ate a bunch of food. And now I'm trying to think, like, what makes this look, I guess, interesting, right? And, you know, that word is a fucking bane on my goddamn life, but yeah, like, what makes this look good, right? What I'm thinking right now, what I'm actually doing, as you can see, is like, what if there's a cutout, right? These are subtractions at the end of the day, right? Like, what if it was a subtraction like this, right? And this way I can also indicate the form that this is in fact a cylindrical shape, right? That has a cutout. And the reason I'm doing this design is because I've seen this design in mechanical things, right? Maybe it's not on a cylinder specifically, but I try to pay attention in, you know, I have like a Pinterest board and I try to pay attention and be like, like what is actually happening? What are we doing here? Right? Like what shapes can I, what shapes can I notice, right? And again, now like I have to really think outside the box and really just think out in general, like, okay, dude, what is this shape? Do I want a large box connected? Do I want a small box connected? How thick do I want this to be? I do want a larger box here connecting these two, right? But what are we actually doing, right? And this is extremely difficult to think about, I'll be honest. Like trying to think in silhouette is difficult. It is extremely difficult, don't get me wrong. Like it is incredibly difficult. But on top of that, trying to think in simple shapes with the silhouette. And by simple shapes, I literally mean like the connection here. Oh, is it a box? And is there a cylinder that I'm trying to connect here? Smaller ones. Is there? And it's like you have to think about the overall shape and the overall silhouette. Like right now I'm thinking overall that this is just a box connecting it. And now that I've decided that, now it's like, okay, well, what manipulations are you adding? Right? And that is what this is like what everybody says, right? This is what all the concept artists and everybody who does anything when it comes to shapes and designing says. The fact that they think about the overall shape first and then they add the manipulations afterward, right? Like it seems to be like that is the gist of the process. But again, just saying I just think about the shapes and then doing the actual part where you have to think about the complicated shapes is different, right? It is a different part of the process. And again, like how is this really connecting, right? And do I want this to extend all the way up here? Maybe, because I haven't really decided upon the length of the shape either, right? But maybe we'll just have it extend outward like so. You know, does this look good? Who knows? But it is a great way for me to practice my linemanship, right? My line quality, right? And is that really a good manipulation? Probably not, you know. So like there's all these little things. And again, like this box, okay, I've decided there will be a box following this entire perspective. This box will be connecting here, and then this thing will probably be, I want this to be relatively extended, right? And then we can have another one of these here. But maybe it will be a different type of this. Maybe it won't be the exact same thing, right? These are all things to consider, right? And then again, like I'm trying to think like, what kind of tiny little additions can be made to this cylinder? And again, my lines really do suffer, right? My lines definitely suffer quite a bit. And this actually, like what I did here, doesn't even make any sense anymore. Like what I ended up doing to the middle here. So I have to think like what is something that can be done that makes this seem intentional. And I'm thinking we can just add that texture to the rest of this to make it seem, and this is like, I'm not trying to think about it as texture, by the way, but a 3D form, right? Like this is actually three-dimensional, and you can see my lines are suffering again. I'm always gonna keep calling out the fact that, oh, like this is not good, this is not good, or like these are suffering, because I want you to be aware of how much I'm aware of when I'm practicing. Right? Like these are things I'm constantly aware of, and these are the things I'm constantly telling myself, okay, good, like that's not good, right? Because that's how I can, like, the more I pay attention, the more opportunity I have to focus on those, right? like focus on those little things, get better at them. And again, here, like, okay, well, we got, I'm thinking I'll extend this outward, right? Because I do want it to be quite long. But now I'm thinking, okay, maybe I want a connection here, right? Maybe something is going to be connecting these two, right? Same thing here. Like, this is my still overall box. That's the box I'm thinking of, right? Still trying to follow the perspective. But I'm trying to think, like, okay, what is the silhouette, right? What is the thing that, like, is maybe connecting this? And maybe it can be something that is, right? And I don't know yet. I don't know yet. That's why I'm like, this is the part that's really difficult because I have to make a legitimate connection, right? And we have to make it I'm gonna try to make it make sense, right? And maybe there's like a rounded end, and then maybe it comes down again, right? You see how I'm just kind of saying maybe, because can I really say that like this is exactly how it's gonna be? No, but for me personally, saying shit like, oh, maybe it's like this and maybe it's like that just opens up the opportunity for me to fuck around, right? To like really fuck things up, but still be conscious of the fact that I'm trying to stay true to the fact that, okay, cylinder, box, and then another cylinder, right? And then like another attachment here, who knows? But I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. And then we'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. There's always a million things to think about. Like, I also want to make sure the shapes themselves are large and have some sort of what's it called? Like, because the thing is, the one thing I keep noticing when it comes to these hard surface shapes or whatever the fuck you want to call them is like, there's a lot of white space that's given. Right now, you see there's a lot of little details happening here, right? And I can make that even more apparent if I just, oh look, two little bolts, right? Two little cylinders. It's like, oh, okay, these are all details. But a lot of these, and let me just add some more, I guess, extension to this, and you can see the lines are actually inaccurate, right? But a lot of these, and I'm really trying to think about the perspective while I do this, right? I'm really trying to think about the box, but, and again, this involves a lot of fine lines, right? And we'll even do something like this. This is actually rounded as well. So you can see there's a lot of variety that we can do with just cylinders, but it took me hundreds of hours to get to this point to be like, oh, look, I can do variety. I can not make it the same fucking thing over and over, right? And even then, it pretty much is the same thing over and over, but I'm learning that like this is the type of variety that seems to look okay, right? Maybe even something where it extends outward. Right, but then again, actually, I did want a box here, so what I could do is actually just... And another part is like, what I want to say is like, apart from the complexity of just trying to find the white space, you also do have to get pretty decent at seeing through forms, right? Like, we want to be able to be pretty decent at seeing through forms. And what I mean by that is like being able to see the other side. Like, what does the other side look like? Right? And this is, you can tell that this cylinder is incorrect. Right, the cylinder is incorrect. And it's like, okay, we have a little bit of white space here, so do I have the liberty to add little accents here? Right, do I? We don't know. And I think that was incorrect too right there, but it's kind of like we're just trying to figure it out in terms of like designing. That's the whole point of designing, is like just be like, what the fuck, how does this work? So in terms of white space, what I mean is like, this is a decent amount of detail and shit happening, right? But the white space is like this space here, nothing in between these pockets. So it's kind of like you have to trial and error your way to being like that, and then you have to be like, how can I actually... First, let me fully make this dark, because those lines were being quite obstructive in my opinion. But again, it's an opinion, right? It's like, I think making that truly black rather than using lines to indicate the values is going to make a difference, right? Do I understand values? Fuck no. I literally don't understand everything. As you can see, there's no fucking understanding of values here. Zero, none at all. But only line, form, and perspective, and it's taken me quite far, right? And I haven't even touched upon the Artwad portrait roadmap yet, but I'm just trying to think, like, maybe there's some sort of attachment. And this, I want this to be like a big shape, right? So let's see. We can... and I want this to be multiple rounded perhaps, right? And this is like all based on the box, right? So I'm like constantly thinking to the best of my ability, and it gets harder the larger the shapes get. I want to be very clear. It gets harder the larger the shapes get. Like it does. It really, really, like the more there is, like it's harder to zoom out and see an entire box, right? And you can see I made a mistake here, like it went the wrong direction. So I'm just trying to fix that right now. Let's see. And this is just my multiple rounding attempt, right? And we can bring this up here, right around here actually, might as well. And still trying to follow the perspective, trying to round it accurately, right? And now this is the shape that it seems I've decided upon. Decided upon? Fucking voice crack. This is the shape I've decided upon, I'm a man. Right, so it's looking pretty cool. Like this is actually, like this is what I like about constantly analyzing and trying to figure shit out, is the fact that I wouldn't make something like this otherwise if I didn't give myself the liberty to figure things out, right? And I want to do something like this, where it's kind of awkwardly jutted in, just because I think it'll be fun. But now I see I have to problem solve this. And let's see. Okay, you know what? It's not jutted in, it's just on the other side. There you go, something like that. And we can, what can we do here to make this seem like it's actually attached properly? Well, first, why don't I just close this off? I'm gonna commit to closing this shape off. And you see, like, it's extremely difficult to zoom out and to think about, like, how the fuck, how does this connect? What's going on? What are we doing, right? Maybe I can add a lot of little details here. Purely, by the way, purely just to lead the eye to the lack of detail here, right? To, like, give it that breathing room. Because right now, I personally think, and again, this is like a subjective, like, trial and error thing, right? That having more detail here and then less detail over here would make a difference. And this thing I'm just gonna multiple round, right? Which is basically just, it's not basically, as in like, it is basically, like these are all simple concepts that completely transform the art, right? But it is just projecting a plane, essentially. You're projecting a plane. I show it here, right? Like you have a plane, let me put it over here because nothing's getting in the way. Like this is multiple rounding, right? You have a plane and then you're projecting it as per the perspective, right? This way, down, and then out, right? This way, down, and then out. And then there you go, see? This way, down, out. Ta-da, right? Same thing's happening on the other end, they're all meeting, and then before you know it, this is the silhouette, right? This. There you go, now we have a multiple rounded plane, right? Doing a different perspective, it's just something like this. Something like that, right? It's projected. It's projected. That's just another. That's just one type of multiple rounding, by the way. But it takes a fucking long time to get there. I did this like really half-assedly, intuitively, and it looks relatively believable, right? But it's fucking hard. It took me dozens of hours to understand it, and because you have to constantly think, it's calculating. Like this, I did intuitively, right? And I'm like, a lot of this I am doing intuitively in the sense that like I'm not thinking too much about the manipulations I'm doing. I'm more so thinking about how I can design these manipulations to be pleasing to the eye, right? That, to get to that point, takes a lot of cognitive effort, and it'll never not take cognitive effort. Good double negative there, Biggie. Thank you, Biggie. You're welcome, Biggie. Anyways, like it's always gonna take a fuck ton of effort, right? So one thing I can tell you is like, if you're like, I'm not improving, how much cognitive effort are you putting in towards the things that matter, right? And how much of it have you consistently put in towards the things that matter, right? The skills that I have are a reflection of the effort that I've put forth, you know, and where I've put that effort forth, right? It's as simple as that. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, and that's why it's worth doing. That's why it's worth doing. Woo! Right, so this is actually like a nice white space, but again, it's like, what am I trying to do here? Right, like what is actually the perspective happening here? Right, so I guess we can bring this forth, and let's see. If I want to connect this, is there any way to make this connection look like it's not shit? Well, I guess I could do something like this, right? Something like this, where it's like, oh look, it's actually a bit of like a mechanical connection. I don't know why I said mechanical like that, but it's a bit of a mechanical connection. That kind of looks mechanical, I don't fucking know. And then like, yeah, I'm trying to really think about the whole white space thing. It's a huge trial and error process, right? It's like, what the fuck is this thing now? Like, what have I done here? Like, what am I actually like trying to do with these shapes, right? And this is where I'm gonna try to channel the shit that I've seen on my Pinterest, right? Which is just, hey, just add little panels, right? Add little panels. Panels like this seemingly make things a lot more interesting. I don't like that word. I really don't like the word interesting, but this is just what I can say in terms of like, it makes it look more visually appealing, right? What part makes it look more visually appealing? Probably, seemingly, for some reason, the fact that we can add a little like essentially this is a box, right? This is a box, and then we're just following the perspective, and then just adding it. And you can see I fucked up the perspective a decent amount too. But these things like, and then just yeah, like sort of wrapping it around this shape, for lack of a better word, right? And we could even do something like this, where this is actually a bit concave, right? Something like that, right? And perhaps these shapes, and I'm really trying to think about the perspective like I am. And perhaps this is actually, look at that, we just changed the entire design. This is actually connecting, oh shit, see, that was a bad line. This is connecting like this, right? Ta-da, now it's actually connecting inward. Now, did I fuck that up? Possibly, it doesn't really look that good. But the point is, we're trying to figure shit out. Right, we're trying to figure shit out. And I think this is where things didn't look good. Like this inside part, I definitely didn't make that look as good as it could have, right? And maybe I'll close this off here actually. So, whoa, interesting. The panel's ending right when this thing's ending? Right? Something like this. And you can see my lines are suffering quite a bit, right? And I'm trying to zoom out, I'm trying to think about the perspective quite, I guess constantly, for lack of a better word, right? But it is extremely difficult. Again, the more complex the shape, or the more I mean, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to think right now. I'm really trying to think. What I'm trying to say is, see, this is not looking good, and that's okay. That's completely okay. See, it's actually like jutting out a little bit. But yeah, the more you have to expand, I have to expand my vision out of the box, because at the end of the day, the procedure I'm trying to have in line for myself is the fact that like, oh, we're zooming out. And you can see like this in general, I fucked it up a decent amount, so I'm gonna have to bring this out a little bit more to, and this connection right here, I guess it's gonna have to stop right here, but perhaps this can keep going, and you can see again, that was a fuck up in my line. You see it's curved, and it shouldn't have been, it should have been straight. Right, and I have to see through the form. Let's just say it ends right down there, and then we bring it down like that. Right, you might be wondering like, okay, why is this stopping here? Well, I'm thinking that I'll just extend this, because that is going up here like this other side, so I'm gonna just extend it out. And yep, that means I made a mistake, and I shouldn't have finished that off, but I did, and now we're here. And that looks okay. That is not what I expected to draw, but that is what I ended up drawing. So it's just what it is, right? And same with this shape. If we just at least indicate the edge of it, right? And I guess to add to the fact that it is connected, because yeah, see, I really struggle with lines in this perspective, but there you go. Like this angle specifically, I struggle with lines, right? And let's try to converge this a little bit. Maybe that was a bit too much convergence, but I did try to converge it a little bit. That's definitely a bit too much convergence. And I'm going to, let's just say for value's sake, if I'm going to use that word, right, let's make the inside of this a little bit more, I guess, differentiated, right? So at least it looks okay. Is that okay? No, I feel as if we should add one more line in the middle. And again, this is all, at the end of the day, this is really good line practice, right? And this is me figuring out how I can have fun with forms, right? So at the end of the day, like it's all winning, right? Like I'm just figuring out my own process to how I can make things look good, right? But now I don't want this to end this way, because one thing I'm thinking about when I think about just how shapes in general are drawn. Like from when I like the hard surface artists that I look up to, right? They all do this thing where it's like now we can just have another connection. So if I think about that, then I'll just do something like this, right? Where and by connection, like they just add something thick to make this shit look like even more robust, right? Emphasis on the bust. I'm actually 34-inch chest. Actually, I think my chest is 36 inches. I do have some man touches. But you can see, like, there's a lot of perspective issues. And it's all my fault, obviously. Like, there's nothing else to say. I fucked up, bro. I fucked up drastically. Drastically, I fucked up. But, And again, like, this is because I'm not seeing through the form as much as I could, right? Or as much as I should. Like, I need to really be doing that a lot more. Maybe I could also just do something like this. Yeah, to indicate the form. Maybe this will help a little bit in terms of making like, yeah, see this makes things look a little bit more hard surfacey. But now another thing that you might not be realizing that I'm struggling with is the speed of which I'm drawing these indications, right? Like it's going a bit fast, but I'm not that good to go that fast. Like I struggle with that quite a bit. So now this is good, right? Like this right here, this is good that I am leaving this space here. I think it makes sense. I think it looks decent, right? And now I'm just trying to think like, okay, this is a pretty cool silhouette, I like to say. I think I'm actually doing something interesting here. But you see like it was like cylinder or block, right? Technically just box attached here, another box here. Was this really what I was thinking of? Absolutely fucking not. You guys know from the beginning, if you're here in the beginning, that this is not what I was thinking of. But this is what ended up happening, and it's still okay because at the end of the day, I'm constantly trying to think about silhouette to the best of my ability, which is pretty fucking mid, right? Pretty fucking mid. So now I'm just trying to think like what's a shape that I can add here that, I'm thinking something like this. Okay, so I'm thinking, again, this is the perspective, right? I fucked it up, but this is the perspective. Well, this is actually converging here, so that kind of works. It is a wider degree here, so it makes sense that this is slightly off. Actually, no, this is wrong. It's still wrong. Fuck. But I'm thinking, bring this out. Again, my lines need a lot of work, right? And then I'm trying to think about the overall box. Bring this out, right? And then perhaps bring this up a little bit. Like bring but by this I mean like I'm just trying to think about the shape. Like what could I do with the shape and the silhouette, right? And then maybe this is how things can connect up here, right? Maybe I could create some sort of connection up here, but up here and up here, right? So let's see. Let's bring this over, bring it down like so, right? Like just obviously what I mean by bring it down is like bring this shape, have it blend with this other shape, right? Let's try to keep, I don't want to make too many manipulations. I mean, I have a tendency to constantly like over manipulate things, right? Like, and that is the biggest thing that I obviously have the liberty, right, to recognize and work on. This line is absolute shit, right? I'm just saying that so you know that I'm aware that this line's absolute shit. But anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. And then we'll get back to it. I think I already did that before. We'll just get back to it. But yeah, this shit is fun, and I like drawing in these bottom angles. They're always challenging, right? And you want to challenge yourself. I'm really thinking I want to add 2 cylinders here in the middle. Now that I look at it, right? And this is the beautiful part about design, I guess, right? Not that I'm like a fucking incredible designer by any means, but this is just kind of what I'm just thinking out loud. So like this is what I'm finding to be kind of like a nice little, yeah, a beautiful part about design, which is, and I did fuck this up quite drastically here, right? But this is what I find to be a nice part about design is the fact that I can change things as I go, right? I can literally make things different, and the connections here like kind of don't make sense, but in general, as long as I try to keep it relatively simple, or not simple, but like relatively coherent, right? I'm trying to think as well, like this here, maybe I could add just a little ellipses here, right? And this is all obviously me just being like, what looks quote unquote good, right? Now if I do that, that looks nice. What if I just make it slightly subtracted inside? It's like, okay, that doesn't fuck with the design too much, and it seems to add a quote unquote mechanical element, right? Like it adds something that looks relatively interesting. I'm just trying to think like what do I want to do here? Because this I fucked up, but there has to be a way to fix this as well. I guess I'll just leave it. I can't really think of anything to do with this. Like this little cylindrical manipulation thing that I did, right? Now another big thing is like, what the fuck do I do here? How do I connect this shit, right? Like, how do I actually connect this shit? And I don't have the answer for that, obviously. Like, I don't have the answer for that. But what I can say is we're gonna fucking ignore that now because I can't think of anything. And we are going to create another box over here, right? We're gonna create another box over here, and my brain is telling me, right, like give this a lot of space, right? Give this a lot of space because that is what it requires. Right, and make it a nice multiple rounded shape. Right, give it a lot of space, make it a nice multiple rounded shape, and see where that takes you. See, it's not even centered, so I fucked it up. I didn't center it, so that's on me. So it's like, how do I fix the fact that I didn't center it? Well, I could. Let's see. This is not centered, so if this is the center right here, and then this is where my edge needed to be, right? That means I could do something like this. Does my edge need to be? I'm trying to think, because there's a problem-solving opportunity, right? Like I did not center. I wasn't thinking, and I made a box surrounding it that wasn't centering the ellipse, right? The cylinder that was attached to it. Now, does it have to be centered? No, but do I believe currently that it would look nicer centered purely based on the things like relative things like symmetry and all that shit that I know, right? Alignment, whatever the fuck else you want to call it. Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say that I want to make it relatively centered based on these vague principles that I relatively understand, right? So is there a way to make it centered, right? Like this is not centered. Is there a way? And I'm thinking, let's see, something like okay, again, this is all gonna be like a what if for me, right? But what if I multiple around the single rounded shape and don't fuck up the perspective like I did just now? And you can see like when the perspective is off and the lines aren't clean like they are now, by the way, like to be very clear, it makes a huge difference, right? It makes a huge difference in what is actually being drawn, you know, because when the perspective is off, it's very easy to just, our mind in general, to be like, bro, what is this ass, right? Like this just doesn't look good. And I'm trying to create this little, like, I guess connection you could call it, right? And trying to make it make sense. None of this really makes sense anymore, right? But I am still trying. I'm still fucking trying to make it make sense, bro. And this is the part where my brain's really like, dude, this box needs to be so much more bigger than it actually is. But I'm struggling, famo. I'm struggling, bear, ally. Great. I've resorted to Toronto man slang. This is how you know I'm completely lost it. Oh wait, no, see, like that's the wrong rounding, but okay, we somehow managed to make it look not as shit as it is. But I obviously drew this line incorrectly, like I shouldn't have done that because we still have this entire thing. One thing I've learned from Kim Jong-un is like he's just like, ah, fuck it, just go with it. He does that a lot. He's just like, ah, fucked up, whatever, just go with it. Don't even think about it. So I'm trying to channel that. I'm trying to channel the whole you made a mistake. What are you gonna do? Just draw over it, bro. Just draw over it. Look, people will know that you made a mistake, except you've explicitly put out a 40-minute, 1-hour video, whatever the fuck, stating that you made a mistake. But apart from that, they will not know. They will not know. And see, because that line is misaligned, I have to now create another line here. That makes, and this is, I guess, like the pocket of detail that I'm unintentionally but inadvertently creating, right? Unintentionally but inadvertently creating this pocket of detail, and it actually is adding to it. It actually is adding to it, all because you just keep adding these little lines, and like it's a win-win for me because I'm trying to zoom out, I'm trying to think about the perspective, I'm trying to really see, and I'm failing, right? And that was a bad multiple rounding too because I didn't really follow the other side. But I'm trying to zoom out. I'm trying to see the multiple rounding. I'm trying to see the overall perspective. And I'm also able to really practice my lines. So it's really just a win for me because right now I'm fucking struggling to zoom out while zooming in on these tiny lines. I'll tell you that much, right? And trying to make sure my thumbs don't stiffen up either, right? So that ended up looking interesting, to say the least, right? And you see I have a huge problem with aligning things. This is down here, and if you go down, it's like off by a millimeter. So again, I just have to commit and be like, no, you didn't fuck up. Ha ha ha. Nobody knows you fucked up. Right? Except you all know. You're all right here. Like now to do this to make up for it. Oh fuck! No, I should have done it the other way. Yeah, whatever. Just leave it. just fucking leave it. But let's see. And yeah, see, like it's misaligned. The multiple roundings are fucking horrendous, as you can see, right? Like it's actually fucking ass. But this is fun. Then that's all that matters to me, right? Like this is just good fun, and maybe we can have another bigger shape. Oh, we can't have the bigger shape because I fucking made a little drawing here, so we'll have to bring that down. I did. That's just like a mistake from before, right? Or not even a mistake. That's just me not accounting for proportion. And we'll just do this. There you go. This way it looks kind of mechanical, looks kind of interesting. I can add perspective here, right? Bring it down here. Maybe we can even make it look like a panel up here, right? Not up here, like as in something appeared, but up here, right? Perspective is definitely fucked. Like this is going this way. I don't know why the fuck I made this go the other way, right? Maybe unless I could do the same thing on the other side, right? We'd be like, oh look, no, it was actually diagonal this entire time. See, ta-da! It was actually diagonal this entire time. So that's completely intentional because now that's a slight diagonal and that's a slight diagonal. Everything in perspective. don't worry, we are Gucci, right? But yeah, these are the ramblings of someone who doesn't know what they're doing. But yeah, it looks cool, I guess, right? I'm getting better at like, I guess I'm not, it's not getting better. I'm definitely leaning into more just like trying to connect things and go with it, right? Now I know like, hey, I gotta center shit. I gotta make sure things look good, right? This rounding is fucking abysmal because like this is going that way in perspective, and that's going this way, and then this is going this way. It's just all over the place, and can't really fix it, can I? I can try, but just going over the lines over and over won't really make a difference, so you just have to accept the fact that it's a failure. Shippai-da! I think that's what the Japanese say, right, when it's a failure. I don't fucking know, bro. Now, before I rest my brain, of course, I'm trying to think, what can be done? Was is this? What can be done? Right? Do I want to add little details here? Maybe I could. Right? Maybe I definitely could. But what kind of detail do I want to add to this, right? That's what I'm trying to think right now, like just to the edge of the cylinder, right? What kind of detail do I want to add? That, because I want this to be like something that's, I guess, more white space, and this to be white space, right? That's nice. This is nice white space, right? Is it good? I don't know, but like it's definitely more along the lines of what I'm trying to do. And then this is great because it's actually really teaching me to zoom out and see the entire box, right? But before I rest my brain, I'm just trying to think, like, should I just maybe just add more of these reaffirming indicators, right? Something like this. Yeah, this is probably good enough, actually. Is it good? No, I don't know, but I'm just saying good enough in terms of perhaps what I'm trying to do right now. And this is something that can also help me with my perspective skills. You see, that was a fuck up. I fucked that line up there. Yeah, I'm just trying to really make it aware that like I'm constantly making mistakes, and then I feel good when I'm constantly making mistakes, and I'm essentially always paying attention to the mistakes that I'm making, right? And then maybe we just have something like this, right? This, where I actually fucked the other one up, but this could actually be something that's like indicating that these are more cable-like shapes, like these have form, right? See, I'm like curving it. So I obviously didn't do it for this line right here, but I'm trying to do it for these other lines, or for these other, yeah, indicators. And that looks okay. Nothing incredible. At that point, might as well just darken this out and fix this ellipse while I'm at it, right? There you go. Still think that looks mid, but it works. It jerks. There you go. It's okay. Anyways, let me rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. Man, this is definitely fun with forms. I'm not gonna lie. This is definitely very fun. Because it's just allowing me to experiment, right? And 99% of the times when I'm experimenting, it pretty much goes to shit, right? As you've seen, right? And maybe it doesn't look like it's gone to shit because this all probably looks intentional. Maybe I don't fucking know. Depending on your skill level, this probably looks good or this probably looks or you can see the mistakes that I'm making, right? But the point is, for me personally, it's the fact that I'm just able to kind of loosen up, relax, and to try drawing things. Right now, this is a great problem for me to solve. Like, how am I gonna make this look interesting? I've cut this out. I've just decided that there's gonna be like some shit intersecting here. But what shit? And how is it gonna look when it's intersected? Right? That is something I'm trying to figure out right now. And let's see actually if we could do something like this. And this could very well go wrong, by the way. Again, like I like stating that just so you're aware that it's really just all trial and error. You know, when I say, oh, this could very well go wrong, this isn't me being like, ha ha, I'm just trying to hide behind the fact that I'm a shit drawer, right? It's more so me hiding behind the fact that I'm a shit drawer. So you can tell there's a pretty big difference in my intent. But overall, what I'm trying to say is pee pee poo poo. Apparently he's at large again. Everybody be careful, right? But let's see. See, I'm trying to think like, okay, well, how can this all be connected, right? And again, like I'm trying to think like, okay, there's something here that's gonna follow the perspective. We're adding like a these are basically diagonal cutouts, right? Diagonal additions, diagonal boxes, right? Whatever the fuck you want to call it, but that's what it is. And again, very difficult to do because I'm trying to think about the overall perspective while I'm drawing this tiny ass shape. Just fucking painful, bruh. Fucking painful, right? In a good way. Not painful at all. I shouldn't use the word pain, because then everybody would be like, ah, I knew it. I knew our new art is pain. I'm being facetious. Leave me alone, goddammit. Okay, it's actually not painful. It's extremely enjoyable. It's like, to the fucking core, it's extremely enjoyable. Oh, okay, so I actually didn't even mean for it to become like this, but this is now a multiple rounded shape, right? The edge is multiple rounded, the top here, and then these things are like jutting out of it, I guess. I guess that's my shape. I guess that's what I ended up doing without realizing. But now to think, like we need to zoom out, to take a step back before I just get sucked into like just adding random bullshit details, right? And be like, okay, well, how does this look, right? How does this look in, like how do I want it to look on the other side? Not a lot can be seen on the other side. That's why I want to practice drawing forms that we so barely see the other side and it's covered. And I think that's a huge part of what I want to do. I'm just fucking trying to hold in a burp as always, right? I got a comment way back being like, your burps are disgusting. That shit made me cum. It was great. But anyways. Okay, maybe it's attached like that, right? To the side here. Kind of looks cool. Kind of, right? Being the operative word. Not really. And utter shit being the more appropriate word, right? But, by the way, like, again, I'm very, very... Like, I'm just being sarcastic. I don't think it looks fucking ass, bro. I just think it looks I don't really have stakes in this, right? Not unless they're delicious, but you see I fucked up again, so we have to be like, oh, look at that, it was all part of the plan, we totally meant to do that. But now if we're talking about seeing through the form, I obviously need to draw this on the other side, and it's just a little bit here. There you go. So now we know it's on the other side, because I'm trying to think like what the other side actually is like, and yeah, that seems about right. right? We don't really see much on the other side, but we do obviously have another side to see, right? Now I'm trying to think, okay, like I made this something that was cutting out like this and attached to this. That's cool and all, right? But, and maybe this can be outlined like so. Maybe that's just unnecessary. It probably is unnecessary, right? But now that just makes me want to, oh shit, see, lines went to shit. But that just made me want to like create some sort of multiple rounding around it. Multiple rounding around it. And then we'll just say, nope, this is plating. This is something solid, right? There's nothing here. This is still a solid shape, right? And this is where I'm going to be adding my little like pockets of detail. If this may be correct, this may not be correct. We have to be very clear with ourselves, right? Like this may be too much detail, and that's why I'm trying to zoom out. Like this may be too much detail, but who knows? Who knows? So now, okay, like clearly this is a pocket of detail here. This is a little bit of pocket of detail here. Maybe this is the most, right? And now I have to be like, okay, what's just a large shape? What's just a large fucking shape that I can draw, right? That won't fuck this silhouette up. And frankly, I have no fucking idea. But what I could do maybe is something like, because again, this perspective is all sorts of fucked, right? So what I could do is maybe this goes down here, comes back down here, right? And we can make it so this is actually like a large shape that this is all connected to. Bring it over. And again, like I'm really trying to think right now how this could all be connected. It's very difficult to think of that. I want to be very clear. Like it's extremely difficult to think of that. But I'm trying to see something at the very least, right? And maybe something connecting here. I know I said I want to have 2 cylinders, so I'm still trying to figure out how I can incorporate 2 cylinders in here, right? Maybe it just has to be done like this. Something like this. And now I have another problem to solve. Like I purposefully also do, like I very intentionally also make sure that I fucking draw shit without having a fully clear idea of what it is, because it forces me to visualize, right? And you can see I fucked up the ellipses too. Like this is wrong minor axis, it's going this way. But now I have a duty to be like, how do I unfuck this? Right, like how do I unfuck this? And currently, I'm not unfucking it, I'm probably making it worse, but this is the part of doing business with your mind when it's garbage. Right? So, let's see. I'm trying to make it so that this is like a large shape that's coming out and it's all attached, right? And this is like a large, very large shape. Let's do something like this. Bring it back up first, and then we'll bring it all the way back, right? So again, I don't really know where this is going, by the way, but I'm just trying to make it so like this is actually all attached to a much larger shape than initially presumed, right? And that's why I'm doing it like so. And then we can maybe have a cutout here, and again, I'm trying to think about the box. Right, have a cutout here. And maybe it cuts out here as well, right? So now this is cool, because now I feel as if I'm starting to make it look like as if it's all something attached to a much larger machine, right? This horrendous mistake, right? Like these ellipses are just inaccurate to the core, but that does not mean that I cannot problem solve this yet. Right? Currently, it's possible that I could problem solve it, but I purposefully put them in a spot that would make me be like, what the fuck? Like, how do I actually make this thing make sense? Right? So what I could do right now is maybe something like this. Right? Okay, cool. We got our ellipse, right? And then if this does go, like if I do draw this cutout here, what the fuck is happening elsewhere? Well, I could actually do this, right? Actually do this. Could I have done that? Actually, 1 second. Yeah, I could have done that. 100% I could do that right now. And then this is just something that we will draw with little pockets of detail, right? And look at that. It is now something that is connected. Okay, off perspective. But it's connected, right? And there you go. Now it looks a lot more intentional, perhaps, as well, because now I'm going to draw these little cutouts. I'm going to really focus on my line work, which is obviously ass, like without a fucking doubt. Look at this. Whee! But I love this. It really forces me, it really, really, really forces me to think about the overall perspective, right? And this way I can, and you can tell there's a lot of fucking dozens of mistakes in my perspective. And we're just gonna stop right there, right? Because I don't want to create tangents. You know, that's something I don't want to do. So I did make a mistake here. Like, this shape should have been a lot shorter. So I did make a mistake. 100% that was a mistake. Right, and this can be multiple rounded, perhaps. Right, and again, I'm really, like, this is a big ass box for me to visualize now, right? This is huge. I've never visualized a box in this, at this scale before, right? But this is good because it's really teaching me how to zoom out and really, really, really forcing me to see perspective that, or maintain a scale of perspective, sorry, that I don't usually ever maintain? What the fuck, maintain? Right? Now, how does this look? Because I have to think about, oh, okay, I know how this looks. There you go. And we will bring this down here like so, right? Again, following the perspective, this line, this multiple rounding. There you go. Now, again, this actually was really bad. Like, this thing that I added should not have been that. Because now look at that. The silhouette is all jumbled. Everything looks like it's one thing. It looked a lot better. Like, a lot better when there was the space. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just add this space back, right? There you go. Maybe that makes it look a little bit cleaner, right? But this was a huge mistake. This thing that I added, you see, like, you learn, it starts to look good, and then it looks like shit, and you're like, okay, just deal with it. Just gotta deal with it. But I'm gonna rest my brain, and then we're gonna finish this shape up. And look at that, another hour gone by of fun with harm, right? So, good shit. But yeah, I hope you can tell from my language. It's like, I keep fucking up. I keep making mistakes, but I keep responding to it like, oh, that's great. Oh, that's wonderful. Awesome. Okay, yeah, I made a mistake. Great. And this is actually how we get better, right? Like, this is literally how we get better, because we keep telling ourselves, like, hey, it's good. Like, it's a good thing we made mistakes, because now my brain has to pay attention to these mistakes, right? Like, and that's all I can tell you is, like, you can see, like, I'm just constantly trial and erroring, right? I'm just constantly making really, to my eye, right? Perhaps not to your eye, but to my eye, very glaring mistakes. But now I know, like, hey, like, really, because I didn't think about the silhouette here. I didn't, right? I didn't think that this, like, this shape and then having a little bit of space here and then this coming out would have looked nicer, right? But then I drew this and I'm like, oh, I see it now. It looks jumbled. It looks bad, right? But I didn't see that beforehand. And that's what caused that issue, right? Like, that's what caused the problem. But you don't know what problem is going to be caused unless you actually go through the problem itself, right? So it's fun. It's just fun. It's very fun, right? And yeah, I hope like all I can do is keep encouraging every single one of you, and you guys can see how much more fucking chilled out I am when I'm not caffeinated. Like, none of my extreme tangents or rants, right? Just chill vig. That's what my friends call me. Chill vig. Nobody calls me that. Chill vig. But yeah, see, like, here I could have added like a bunch of shit here, but it's like, no, think about the space, bro. We just talked about that, right? It's like, okay, this space here, Gucci. Let's keep it that way, right? And then just close this off. you know, maybe add a little line here to be like, oh, look, design, we're designing, oh my god, we're designing, whee, right? And that's cool, that's fine, right? And you might be wondering, what the fuck is this shape? Well, this shape we can just have be something that's attached like so, and I want it to, where do I want it to stop? Do I want it to be like something that's connected to the entire thing? We could do that, right? We could do that. And you can see, like, at the end of the session, my lines are suffering quite drastically, which is fine. Like, that's okay, right? So, yeah, I guess all I can say is, like, I hope I keep encouraging all of you to just literally let yourself trial and error. Let yourself figure it out, and let yourself consistently have the mentality that you will figure it out. I actually wanted to, like, bitch about the fact that I saw on, like, there's this artist called Dr. Draw. No, not Dr. Draw. I forgot his, I can't believe I forgot his name, Mr. Draw, something like that. But he basically, like, he's on Instagram as well, he's also on YouTube, but he does like this thing where he tells you, he's all about the fundamentals, and he's all about believing that it's not fucking talent, it's just work. So obviously, you know, I'm gonna jerk off to that. I'm a huge fan of that thought process, right? But no, like, he's a great artist. And again, I'm thinking, like, what should this end here? I'm thinking I should end it right here. Just end it right here, because that I think will be a good way to close the silhouette, right? Is it actually? Who fucking knows? But here, let me add that little multiple rounding on the other side too, right? On the other side too. And then obviously it was supposed to be a little bit converged, right? So we're trying to do that. But no, basically, he basically put out a short saying, oh yeah, like, it's all skills, right? Like, anybody can be great. You can all fucking be excellent, masters even, right? Like, it's just based on the things you focus on and the fundamentals that you practiced, right? And I'm like, wonderful. I'm coming already. Like, I love this guy. And then obviously a lot of people in the comments were very receptive and like, oh, thank you so much, this is what I needed. But then a lot of people, I don't know why, it just brings out the fucking losers. It literally brings out the losers when anytime you say, hey, no, you're capable and others are capable, and it's actually not talent, it's just effort and hard work on the right things, right? It always brings out people who just want to believe that not only are they incapable, but it's like crabs in a bucket, right? They just want to tell other people that they're also incapable, right? So there's like so many comments. There's this one guy, this guy was fucking retarded. I actually had to like respond to him and be like, bro, you're a fucking idiot, right? But I didn't say it like that. I just said, have you put in the thousands of hours that many other artists who have become excellent have? No, then shut the fuck up, right? But I said it much nicer than that, right? I'm like, it's all fucking effort. If you haven't put the work in, don't talk, you know? Again, much nicer than I'm saying it right now. But he basically, like, bro, I swear this guy had like some sort of fucking just retardation or some shit. Like, there's something wrong with him. I think the answer is called stupidity. I believe it's called stupidity. I'm not too certain, but from what I know, it can be infectious, and and that's possibly genetics. I think that is the one time that I can say talent is 100% a part of it, because you have to have fucking dumbass parents to be that much of a dumbass. Although that's also maybe that's a false that could also be false, because I know lots of people who are relatively perceptive and shrewd or smart or whatever you want to call it, and they have very dumb parents, right? So even that's untrue. But anyways, that literally none of that has to do with anything. But basically, if you believe talent exists, fuck off. Literally get the fuck off my channel, right? If you believe affinities exist and that affinities are 10 to 15% boost to your baseline ability when you were born, and everybody is born with different affinities, then yes, that is true. But every single one of these are trainable skills, right? And let's say talent does exist. Please give me one benefit that serves you, right? Just give me one. One benefit that isn't, oh, it makes me not want to work as hard. Or, oh, it makes me demotivated. Or, oh, it makes me at peace with my current abilities and makes me realize that I will have my own level and it's okay if I don't reach other people's levels, right? If that's like how you're viewing talent, then you're also a fucking idiot, because you should definitely also, to at least, if you're striving, strive for the fucking moon. Don't just strive to be a fucking waste, right? And if you die and it turns out that your waste was basically gold in disguise, right? But it wasn't platinum, and how unfortunate it wasn't platinum. Then don't fucking know. You spent your life working towards something that was valuable. You got really good. You got your own respect because you learned how to work hard, right? What a goddamn how sad that you actually worked hard towards something, right? Fucking idiot. But anyways, yeah, that's what I have to say to the whole talent bullshit, right? It's the fact that if you don't want to work hard, you'll always find excuses, right? If you don't want to actually try, you'll always find excuses. And this goes for myself as well. I know when I'm making excuses and I know when I'm not. So am I honest with myself or am I not honest with myself? A lot of the times I try to be honest with myself, which is why I know the skill I have right now is the skill I gained because I tried, right? I don't know if this thing really looks good, like this little thing right here, right? Maybe if we add like a little sphere at the top to it, right? Maybe that'll make a difference. No, not really. No, okay. But yeah, Viggy bitches about talent, right? What a fucking surprise. But that's only because I give a shit. That's only because I want all of you here to have the right mentality and the right beliefs about yourselves, right? I don't want people to sway you and make you feel like it's okay to not try, you know? Because trying is the only thing we have. Like, let me say that again. Trying is the only fucking thing we have, literally the only thing we have when it comes to our abilities. We don't have, I mean, trying, i.e. effort, right? Like the whole thing I always talk about, just effort. And you can see I'm making a fuck ton of mistakes, right? But we don't have anything else apart from trying. Like, I'll be clear, like literally we have nothing else apart from trying, right? Because we cannot control the outcome. I could not control that this fucking monstrosity is what it ended up being, but I could try, right? And I definitely did try, so that makes me happy, right? And even now I'm trying to think like, what's a silhouette that looks good? We'll just leave it at that, right? And then same thing down here, right? Because I know this goes up, then it comes back. Actually, wait, this goes up, then it comes back. Hold up. This is this coming out. I'm just trying to think right now how this looks on the other side. Okay, so it's like a little bit here, and then it comes out like that. There you go. Well, see, I fucked that up. You see, I fucked that up again. So you can tell I really struggle with aligning, as you can tell, right? And my lines at the end of my session are horrendous. So yeah, you're all capable. Everybody is capable, but you can see that this is a fucking amalgamation of bullshit, right? It started off good. It started off good. The only real problem in my opinion is this. This fucked everything up. If we get rid of this, then like this is like its own separate thing. This is its own separate thing. Looks nice or nicer, but this just makes it look like it's one clusterfuck of bullshit, right? Which is not what we want. You know, that's not what we want at all. But either way, I mean, not really much else can be done about it. Like literally not much else can be done about it apart from me trying to be like, oh no, look, this is added to this. Like it doesn't really make much sense anymore, but it looks mechanical. It looks mechanical, and then maybe I can add again some little gradings here, right? Let's see. Just trying to think. We could do something like this. And this is just, again, like, this is literally what I'm doing here, these little cutouts. I don't know why I slurred my words so much. What is just what I see in hard surface design, right? Like, this is just what I've seen other artists do as, like, little accent pieces, I guess you could call it. And that looks cool. I think that looks nice, right? I can even add a screw here. And of course, see, it's blending. You see how that means that it's actually going with this plane, right? I did a bit of form blending there, which just means that you're matching the contour to the other side, right? Like, this is such a fucking shit explanation. You're matching the contour. You're matching you're essentially deciding where the two contours meet, right? So this edge of this cylinder, like this tiny one, it's usually like this, but when it meets a plane like that, it keeps going until it's like, because it just keeps going infinitely in terms of cylinder, that contour, and then you have to choose where it's stopping, and it's stopping like this. And you're not going to understand this until you practice it hundreds of times, all right? Like, you're just not going to understand it, because I didn't understand it after a fucking 100 plus hours of, or minimum 100 plus repetitions and dozens of hours of practice, right? So, yeah, I think this is like a pretty weak design, what I did here. And that's, again, my line work is really shoddy, right? So that's part of it. But I'm going to rest my brain, as in I'm going to, like, this session is done. I'm going to rest my brain after this, and then I'll be back and I'm going to do another one, right? I don't know if it'll be equally as a large shape like this, but I really want to keep practicing. I really want to keep practicing the shape design, because I feel as if I have some good ideas for sure. But as you can see, it's only through trial and error that it's going to get better, right? It's going to get better. I think the next one I'm going to do, we're going to really try to keep it condensed here, and then I'm going to see if I can have some like separation, like 1, 2, 3, and it's going to be like a really bottom angle as well. So yeah, we're going to give it a shot. But anyways, this was really fun. This is really fucking hard to zoom out to this level of of a box, right? And I feel like I had good ideas here. Like this connection, these, like everything, all the connections were good. It's just this fucking thing. It's really just this thing that really fucked it up, right? And I'm sure like it could have been better if I made things smaller, but again, I couldn't see that far ahead, right? I could only see really maybe like 10% ahead at the time. Like then you could tell that from the way I was hopefully narrating, right? It was clear, but overall, I'm just trying to think. Is there any like, is there anything that's missing here in terms of perspective and like form and like seeing through and all that shit? I don't think there is, but we'll leave it for now. The silhouette is pretty mid, but it's only through hundreds of mid silhouettes that you get a couple good silhouettes, and then you try to really zone in on what made those silhouettes good, and then you get hundreds of slightly less mid silhouettes, and then so on and so forth. And would you look at that? It's through fucking trial and error and constant practice and intentional repetitions. What a fucking surprise. But anyways, please never forget that you're capable, and that I hope you had a lot of fun with your forms and practicing and fucking around and finding out where you're shit, where you're good, what's kind of working, what's not working, right? And trying to verbalize it to yourself like I have been doing here, right? And I'm just thinking maybe just a little bit more of these accents will make it look nicer. There you go. Maybe. I don't know. That's just like machinery shit, right? But yeah, either way, as always, I hope you had a lot of fun. I hope you tried a lot. And as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing. And please...